and welcome back to another episode of Animal Adventures. I am your host, Shane Brown, as well as Ed Laquadera. How you doing? How you been?
Good, Shane. How's it going?
Oh, excellent. Let's see, it's been a while since you've been over here.
Yeah, a couple of months anyway.
So what's been going on over the summer? What have I missed? I know that the project, the expansion project.
Yep, the expansion project is finished and opened. Not yet paid for. My wife said, make sure I say that, because she's the bill payer. I'm just a spender.
So donations still coming in?
Yep, we're still accepting donations, and you can go on animaladventures.net. You can see Brian has everything set up there.
Animals already in?
Animals are already in. Yeah, we opened in middle of the winter. And
so what are your plans from here on out?
From here on out, we are either going to, well, right now, I just met with the carpenter again before we came over here this morning, and we are redoing the inside of the building, some new exhibits. We have some new animals. We'll meet a couple of those today. So we're just trying to enlarge their space, and we're going to finish fixing up the building that we have, and then either A, put up one more building on the property, which will be just for lectures and birthday parties, but we will not have animals in it. Of course, that's what I said about our birthday party room. It was never going to have animals in it, just people and cake, and now it has probably 50 animals in it. I also promised my wife that the animals would not, be in our house, encroach in our property, which they
And they are. I think I just heard of an animal that's living in your house. One that's here today.
Yeah, I have 3 animals that are here today that are living in my house, and one that moved out not too long ago.
Just back out into the enclosure?
Back over to, yeah, all the babies are raised in the home, and then when they get old enough, in theory, they go to the animal center.
This is one thing I can't stress enough every time I do this show, because I've been talking up Animal Adventures so much to everybody else over the summer, because they're like, oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to go? We got the kids. We're going to go here. We're going to go to the zoo. I mean, this place is the ultimate. I mean, not only because you get to see the animals, you get to interact with the animals. Everybody there, I mean, these are like their children. This is not just a job. They love what they do. They love working with the animals. They love having people come in there, and they love teaching.
Yeah,
so this to me
has
has
been
been
really good staff. Interacting with people, like you say, they really take ownership of, the animals, and they enjoy their job, so it works out well.
And you have new animals that have come in.
New animals, and you're spreading the word must have worked. We're coming off a record-breaking summer for visitors at our center. It's been crazy. Sometimes you go, okay, well, it's Tuesday. We won't be very busy today, so we'll get all these projects done. And 10 o'clock, we got people lining up to come in. So
that's great.
It's been phenomenal.
There's been a couple times where I'm just kind of driving by, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll stop and say hi, and I'll drive, and I'll just see a line of cars down the road.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
I was telling Brian, I said, it's probably because of Shane.
Oh,
this happened,
that
right?
Must be it. That must be it. So, what do we got first? Because we could keep on going on.
Yeah,
I can just keep on sitting here blowing smoke.
That's true.
Saying how great this facility is, but I want to see some. What do we got?
Well, we got Brian. Brian is our manager, CEO, who's hired to run the office and just run the general. Be the overseer of the company in general.
Can we get a shot of Brian at all?
But now Brian is an animal professional.
That's not Brian. Oh, that's okay.
Brian gets as much poop in him being an office person as any of the staff in the course of a day. This is Piglet, and Piglet is about 9 months old. You think now, Brian? About 9 months old. It's a little redneck wallaby, or Bennett's wallaby. And Jake, if you ever work with animals, I'm going to give you a little secret. If you're working with people from Australia, never call this a Bennett's wallaby. I have some friends from Australia, and they came to visit with their family from Australia. They live out here now. Well, some of my friends live here, some are still back in Australia. And I said, oh, you like our little Bennett's wallabies? And my friend said, what did you call that? And I said, a Bennett's wallaby. He said, that is not a Bennett's wallaby. So anyway, the story I got from Australia was the Australian people had already called these redneck wallabies, named them, studied them, knew all about them. A man from England, because Australia and England have their battles, right? Came over, and his last name was Bennett, and he studied these and published papers and renamed them after himself. So the Australian people will refer to these as redneck wallabies, and the English will refer to it as the Bennett's wallaby. But either way, the maximum height is about 2.5 feet. They can hit 60 pounds, but it's kind of, I don't think these guys are going to. The parents are not real big. And I've never had a 60-pound male wallaby, usually closer to 30 pounds,
And a big question for me, I was talking to somebody before the show, and what is the difference between a kangaroo and a wallaby? Obviously in
Well,
size.
there are a few different physiological differences that are just boring, but I mean, basically,
I
it's
mean, definitely, obviously the same family.
yeah, they're macropods. It's the size and behavior. Kangaroos, like the red kangaroo, tends to be a little more laid back. Much bigger. We have a red kangaroo. We have a female, which is going to end up being about 5 feet and 100 pounds, compared to 2.5 feet. The female wallabies only grow, 2 to 2.5 feet, and 20 to 25 pounds is more average. So big difference in size. The male kangaroo, you're looking at 6 feet, 200 pounds. Also, habitat. These guys are found in Australia, but also England, New Zealand, and several other places. And the kangaroos are mostly only Australia, and then pretty much restricted to desert and desert-like areas. Other than that, water consumption, kangaroos can go a long period of time without water. But as far as looks and the way they move and the way they give birth and all that kind of stuff is very much the same.
Now, this guy lives in your house?
This one moved from my house over to the animal center. Quick funny story, my daughter Giovanna, who you met, she just turned 5 in July. One night she's obsessed with this one. This one is Piglet, and we have Tigger. And I mean obsessed, And one night I put her to bed, and I put the kids to bed pretty much every night, and then I'm the kind of parent that likes to get up and just make sure that they're not hanging off the bed, tuck them in, that kind of stuff. And so I get up to check on her, and she's sleeping, and her blanket is perfect, and I see a little wiggling under the blanket. What is that? I move the blanket, and it's Piglet. He's a little smaller, and sometimes we travel them in diapers and stuff. If they're hopping around the house, we'll put a diaper on them so they don't poop in the house. And my daughter had got up after we went to bed. I said, Giovanna, how did Piglet get in your bed? She goes, oh, after you and Mommy went to bed, I snuck next door. I climbed into the, because there's just a breezeway, 15-foot breezeway, and a couple of doors that separate them. She goes, I climbed into the wallaby pen. I put them over my shoulder. I climbed out and snuck them into bed. So I'm like, how is that possible? So the next day, I'm like, show me. Sure enough, little kid right in there, climbed in. So
I can't believe that she's a little thing, too.
yeah, I'll put some barbed wire or something. Just kidding. No barbed wire.
I mean, they got
Yeah, it's very
claws,
soft.
sharp
Yeah,
claws,
they're not too sharp, but we do trim
very-
them. They can scratch a little bit.
Yeah.
She definitely has a little bit of
Man.
stepped in a little bit of poop there. So
Yeah.
they won't show up in your white pants. Don't worry.
No,
about
that's
it.
all right.
No, it's not gonna show up.
This is Piglet?
Yep.
Now, what do, now this is the max height? This pretty much?
Yeah, he's pretty much done as far as height. He might get a little bit bigger. I mean, they do grow for about a year and a half, but the growth from this point on is not going to be too significant.
And there's 2 of these. Now, where did these guys come from?
This came from a woman in Texas that just had some extras, and we were actually in need of some more exhibit animals to.
No, do they have the same kind of facility as yourself?
They're more researchers and breeders, and 99% of the animals that come in our place are rescued. They're dropped off. We have took in snakes yesterday and iguanas, and every day something comes in. But we need some ambassador animals that people want to come and see, and to support the other ones. And then being at Kimball Farm in Westford, this year we built a star stage. It's a really big, a star exhibit. It's a really big exhibit right in the middle of the tent, and we try to rotate the animals. So the wallabies, were available, and we thought that'd be good.
Now that's another, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's something I usually just kind of skim over. I never really bring up that you can also be seen on Sundays. You're over in Westford.
Yeah, we're there 7 days a week during the summer, and then after Labor Day, we go to weekends until the weather gets too cold, So we have 6 shows over there. Do you guys want to touch the animal?
You want to see?
Not camera shy, are you? Come on.
No.
It's a casual show.
Cheryl, how about yourself? Want to see this guy? I think this is Piglet. Piglet, this is Jake.
Jake, say hi to all the millions of viewers that are watching you.
Yeah, all the millions of viewers.
Wait till we syndicate this around the world,
It's going to be crazy.
There you go.
There we go. Oh, there we go.
Now, you'll read stuff that say kangaroos and wallabies do not hop backwards. Mine do. My kangaroos and wallabies both hop backwards. So let's come over here. I'll scoot her out here a little bit. Jake, what do you think? Come here, you. He's very chilled out. Now, wallabies are also usually a lot more flighty. than kangaroos, but this little guy's been spoiled rotten. We had him at an outdoor show the other day, and I just put him in the grass, and I was just holding his tail in case he tried to take off the base for his tail. He just sat there eating the grass, letting all the kids pet him. He was awesome. So this one will be able to harness train.
Here we are sitting back here with obviously a porcupine, but not just a porcupine. This is a what?
North American porcupine.
North American porcupine found.
North America.
Yeah. Yeah, but what about let's just say anywhere.
Yeah. These guys here, you find them out in the woodlands a lot, but they are not shy to walk across your yard, or you come on your driveway, and they're mostly nocturnal.
Oh, that's going to be my next question.
And you can absolutely find them in the trees. So sometimes people are surprised. They look at it and they say, "Can they really climb?" They're actually pretty good climbers. So porcupines will spend a lot of time during the day up in the trees, and they usually winter either in a tree or in like a stone rock wall or something like that. Find some place to chill out. But yeah, if you say you're out hiking, you ever been hiking, you see like a tree, a pine tree that's missing some bark. If it's low, it's usually a porcupine. What they do is they strip away the outer layer of bark and they eat the soft wooden pitch that's right behind it. So they're strict herbivores. They will eat berries and things like that, but the tree bark.
Now this guy is
what they really like.
what you refer to as dog tame.
Yeah, she is. Lulu
sorry,
is 3 years old, and she is. We definitely use the word dog tame. Doesn't mean that she can't get scared if you're holding her, and
She does not want my food.
she's looking for some sweet potato there, but not too interested, huh? Yeah, if you're holding her and and a dog came in, could get nervous, or a loud noise could make her nervous, but she's really what we consider a dog tame animal. You can see they have up to 30,000 quills, and like we were talking about off camera, a lot of people don't realize they have just regular hair in there too that's very soft, and then in amongst this hair is full of all the quills. As she gets older, because she's still going to grow a little bit, the North American porcupines can grow between 20 and 35 pounds. Her quills will get longer, and you'll just see more of them. But right now, you can see that you can pet her like this. Like if you want to pet her, Shane, you can go like that and not worry too much about it. And what will happen is they have a little barb
bite or nothing,
on
right?
the end. They can nibble. They are rodents, so they
nibble
do
a
have
little bit?
good-sized teeth.
Can she smell fear?
No.
Okay, good, 'cause I think I just
you're not
grabbed my
scared, are you? So,
Oh, hey,
if she bites you, it's just usually a little
It's just
nibble.
okay.
It's just looking
So
for.
I'm
It's
just-
more like a test bite, looking for food.
I dropped the
So-
sweet potato, so she's just kind of sitting right on it.
And-
But so like I said before, I honestly thought that this was just all quill.
Yeah, and probably the biggest misconception is people think that porcupines can shoot quills.
I thought that.
Which they can't. They have the North American porcupines have a little barb on the end. The
Can I,
camera,
let me
I
see
think
if I
got a
can hold
shot.
this up. We
Got
can
a
get a
shot
shot
of
of
it.
this.
And so what
Couple of them
happens is they push into the dog or the raccoon or the person, whatever's bothering them, and then the barb goes under the skin, and then they pull out, and the barb hooks on the skin and stays behind. But they cannot shoot them. Their tail, they can kind of whip with their tail. You can see how heavily, quilled the tail is. So that's kind of that would hurt a little bit.
So these are them. Now
Jake.
these have little barbs on them.
Yeah, this
So when
one.
they go in,
Yep. Right at the end there's like a little barb. It's really small. It's probably hard for the audience to see, but there's a little barb on there.
so they'll go in and they'll just kind of hook right up in there. So in order to get it out, you're gonna have to.
You gotta pull, and sometimes it breaks off. I've had them break off in my hands before, and
Like,
it
like a
gets
splinter or something.
yeah, and you get like a little
I'm gonna put these right over here. before I stick
uncomfortable
myself
bubble
with
in your
them.
hand. Jake, you want to touch? Now, for kids at home, if you see a porcupine out in the woods or in your yard, I wouldn't run over and hug it
Don't
and
don't
pet
hug
it.
these. So I can pet this guy.
Yep.
And I'll be okay.
Jake is on his insurance, so it's not. So Jake has his own insurance
No need to be
policy.
afraid.
So, yep, just take your hand like this and pet just like that. It's not a great idea to go back or to give them big hugs, But other than that, they're pretty easy. The tail can be a little bit tricky.
See,
And
there's
then-
a lot more on there.
Yeah.
Now it's like we were talking before, he is dog tame. But if you were to get scared, now if you ever see him and all their back.
Oh yeah,
goes
once in
up
a
like
while.
that?
Yep, she does that sometimes. If kids come in and they're like surrounding her, or she's walking around the center, and then we want her to go away, and she doesn't want to go away, she might, I don't think she's scared, but she's definitely saying, "I'll go back when I feel like going back."
So I can.
Like right now, like if Brian brings the kennel up that we travel her in,
Yeah.
hopefully she'll just walk right in it. But if not, then we gotta give her a little encouragement,
Yeah. Just try and give her a quick pet here. And
Yeah.
see how this.
You see, we try to kennel train all our animals, so that's our goal, is for that to happen.
That's.
Now, our next guest has been with me for a day.
So she is
and
not.
not tame. I have
So don't come up and take
don't
this
come
one.
up. I have a baby African crested porcupine.
To be found in
Africa,
See?
you are catching
That's
on.
it.
They're also found in parts of Europe too, though. It's one of the few cool animals you can actually find in Italy. And the African crested porcupine is not known for its ability to climb, but it is the largest porcupine. And these guys can grow up to 60 pounds. Brian and myself went to see a friend of mine had an animal exhibit, and he had like a 60-pound male. It was awesome looking, and her name is Tabitha, unless someone comes up with a better name. That's so far what we're going with. But now she was raised by a very nice person, but she was raised with herself, this man, and a monkey. Quiet house. He sent me some video and stuff, and it was a very quiet house. And my house is not a very quiet house. I have dogs running around and people in and out, and she's just adjusting. We got her on Sunday.
Oh, no kidding.
So
How long will it take before she is dog tame, or could it be never?
no, well, it could be never with mammals. If both parents are really mean, then you really don't have a chance of turning that animal around. So sometimes people will bring us the animals and they say, but we love it and we do everything we're supposed to do, and they are doing everything they're supposed to do. Typically, when we take in animals, most of them have been taken very well care of. The people are just moving or different circumstances, and but what happens is if the parents are not nice, they inherit that mean gene, I guess we could call it, and that's all there is to it. I do know that the parents for this porcupine are both very nice, both very handleable even as adult breeders. So I think this one is going to do very, very well.
So how long do you think it would take?
I think within 10 days, between me and Brian, who will probably do all the work with her, she'll be sitting on our lap, and we won't be freaking out over it. I had her sitting on my I had her sitting on my lap this morning.
Which has got to be a big, because she's only been here, what did you say, since Sunday?
Sunday. So, but then my kids started running by, and I got more nervous with her on my lap than she did.
Holy.
So, now you get the cool thing about that
Listen to that.
is
Hold your hand, Mike,
they have
yeah.
specially designed quills on the back
That don't shoot out.
peeing too. That though they can't shoot, but hear how she sounds like a rattlesnake.
Yes.
So they rattle their quills, and they sound just like a rattlesnake and scare off predators. So she has this big mohawk. When they get scared, they'll pee. Cause
Is that what that is?
Yep, that's porcupine. That's African porcupine pee.
Brian's
And,
job.
He's like, I'm good at computers. How did this happen to me? But he's just as good with animals. So, see, so she's already
Starting to calm down.
starting to
It's
calm
just
down.
The initial getting
Yeah,
out of
and the
way.
only reason why I'm wearing gloves during the calm down process is these quills. Here you can see like she's a baby, so some of them are very soft at the end.
So, is there
She's just
still a
starting to
lot more?
grow the quills, and the pee's coming. Oh, there'll be a lot more. You're talking, 30,000 plus quills, on this little girl. And you can touch her. You can try to feed her. She's still on bottle. She's just starting to eat. She's on formula, and we're actually changing her formula around a little bit. So.
Is this hair right here? on
Yeah,
top?
you can pet that. Yeah, that's nice. And they have long whiskers for feeling. And like I say, the North American porcupine is an awesome climber. These ones are not. So my goal is within 10 days, not to really need the gloves. If you pick her up, it's kind of smart to wear the gloves sometime, but just to have her sit on my lap. And
This is what they all look like as babies. They're
Yeah.
covered in quills.
Look
the
at
hair
this.
will just grow out.
Yeah, I mean, the quills aren't there right when they're born, luckily, but they develop shortly after, and you can see they're getting very thick. Now, this porcupine will get very long, close to 2.5 feet, probably about 2.5 feet long. So what will happen is the front part really won't have any quills too much right behind the head. They'll be very minimal. You can feel it's like very bristly there, And that's pretty
Oh,
much
yeah.
what you're going to get. So you can put a collar on this porcupine where they have a longer neck and actually leash train them. So that will be our goal, is to leash train her, be able to take her to a show, walk her out of the kennel on a leash, and just show people how cool they are and that they can get close to it without getting hurt. And I do want to mention getting hurt because in Africa, the porcupine here is responsible for killing everything from hyenas and lions, and some reports even say elephants.
This little guy.
This little guy is absolutely, you can find all these images online of
Bringing down a hyena.
Yeah, what happens is the getting jabbed with the quill won't kill them, but what they get the quills in their paws and in their mouth, and there's no veterinarian in the wild to remove them. So the people that shoot the videos, typically they don't interfere with what happens. So I've seen some very sad footage over the last couple of weeks.
So was it like infection or?
Yeah,
is
it's
it
infection,
bleed, or they
and
try to pull it out and it bleeds.
Well,
I mean,
it's a combination of infection or just simply being in the way in the mouth, where the animal's mouth gets swollen, infected, and can't eat. And then with the lions and hyenas, I'd seen their paw. They hit them in their face, but also in their paws. So like if a lion goes over and is swatting at the porcupine, you know how cats do that, and their paws get full of quills, the feet are too sore and infected to run. They can't chase their prey. So you can go online and look, because that's what I did. Was I've known a bit about these for a while because I had a feeling I'd be working with them. So I've been doing some research, and I studied these a little bit before, but I just went online and looked at some different videos of attacks by African porcupines, and they had everything on there, and it's
So it's not just they don't just die; it's a long, slow.
Yeah, it's not like
death.
they get hit and then they die. It is a
They're
process.
starved to
Most
death,
of the animals that are dying are
basically.
probably dying from starvation or infection.
Now, say there's a hawk or something, where they just kind of just curl up into a ball and.
Well, what they do
Sort of like a cactus or
when
something,
when a bird of prey comes after them, because owls and stuff will hunt them, they kind of put their head down and they fan way out, and something tries to land on them. They can hit with their tail. Again, they cannot shoot their quills. A lot of people, I've even read articles on how African porcupines can shoot their quills, but they can't. See how she's vibrating the tail there? Sometimes they vibrate the tail and they can relax and kind of let them fall out. So they might shake and they might go like a foot or two, but they're not being shot at you like a spear, so they can't really, you have to make contact with her. But see, she's calming down now, and I didn't bring a bottle because I thought that would be a lot for her to probably drink her first time.
She loves the camera.
out.
You're getting used to a life
Yeah,
in front of the
see,
camera.
it's
That must be what it is.
Cool mohawk, huh?
Now, are those quills different before we get rid of, what's this young lady's name again?
A Tabitha.
Tabitha.
Yeah.
Well, is this just a temporary name? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think we'll probably end
Yeah,
up
can
sticking
you
with
thumb
it.
here for a second?
Yeah, we'll
So-
probably end up sticking with it.
This?
These guys don't really have the pronounced barb on the end.
Which part is
like
sticking in you, the black part?
The black part, yeah. These guys don't have the barb as drastic as the North American porcupine. So they're kind of, I would say they're not really barbed at all. There's a report I was just reading where they're now maybe changing their mind and calling them slightly barbed, but they do pull out easier. I had some in my hand last night in my finger, and they pulled out easier.
Painful?
Actually, yeah. You know what? Me and Brian were talking about it. What we were comparing it to, Brian? Those thorns?
I can't remember the name of the bush, but yeah, it was like some decorative garden bush that people use that have these giant,
Thorns and.
Yeah, and they.
You could get jabbed by it. It's like it's got a little bit of a poison, or if it just goes in deep or something, but it just makes your finger throb. But it's not like they have poison to make your finger throb and hurt.
Yeah, last night I was surprised. Like I had one in my finger, and it like stung and throbbed, and really felt uncomfortable. So.
Funny that a needle sticking in your finger would make it hurt.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that. I know. It's like, who would think such a thing?
Who'd have thunk it?
Could I grab her kennel? And then we'll need the handy wipes for our next guest. We have a couple more. Kiss it goodbye, Shane. Or
I'm good.
Jake,
Yeah.
do you want to touch her head?
You want to
touch
give
it?
it a shot? This one's a little bit more skidded.
Yeah, just
so-
come up slow. Just approach her slow. And if she jabs me, I'll throw her on Uncle Jake.
Shane.
Uncle
Well,
Shane, right? Yeah, it's okay. She's okay, because what we're doing at home, have my daughters and stuff come
See,
up and pet
that's
her.
just hair right there, Jake, so
Yep.
that's okay.
No product in that either. That's just natural. No, she's just nervous. She's actually, going to be a very, very good animal.
Thanks, Jake. Here, you can have this, by the way. You can snack on that
If
later.
you're hungry, yep, it's good. You want a quill? All right, I have to move these quills and
Yeah, throw
gonna
these over here.
clean
I'll
up
take
the
care of
table. This is our next animal. We have a couple coming out that are primates. And
it. My favorite.
I'll give these to Brian. I can clean the table if you want to take these quills and stuff.
But the primates now, everybody now is good with good cause. To be nervous of the primates.
Yeah, primates is a big misconception. Science has done no favor to people. And in the movies, let's face it, primates are cute. You can't. I've been working with them. I had my first primate 41 years ago, and my first degree was in crocodilian biology and management, and I've handled every kind of alligator and crocodile on the planet, and they are dangerous. But more people get hurt by primates, and it's simply because the crocodile doesn't lure you in with his cuteness. It's an amazing animal, but you don't go, "You are the cutest thing," and give him a big kiss. And in primates, they look at me, I'm super cute, And then people treat them like little babies just due to misconceptions,
So give us some of the,
in the science world.
some of the common myths about primates, monkeys.
Okay, some of the myths are, I
What do
would
we-
say that, in school often they teach you that the monkey is pretty much a human and almost as intelligent, when scientifically, not to diss any school teachers, they either don't know or don't care about this one particular subject. It's just something that's I've studied, so it's close to me. Is when they teach people like Jake that he came from a monkey or monkey-like animal, that's not possible. So animals can't go beyond certain borders. Like dogs are dogs. Dogs are canines, like your foxes, wolves, coyotes, and dogs, and they can't turn into like birds or frogs or things. So we didn't come from fish and frogs, and that's the big thing. It's outdated science from early 1800s and mid 1800s that now we know that people have always been people and monkeys have always been monkeys. And I think it's better because that way you don't try to humanize an animal because he doesn't want to be a person. This is Gideon. Gideon is an African bush baby, and he's nocturnal. He gets to sleep all day long. And if he was a person, somebody would wake him up and tell him he was lazy if he was sleeping all day long, right? Even, if you've worked third shift, your family still doesn't let you sleep. I've had third shift jobs, and they're like, all right, let Dad sleep till 11. Then he's got stuff to do, so... and I love the animals, and it's not insulting. I'm just, I just find it strange that we tell our kids that we spend so much time and effort and money convincing our kids they came from monkeys or monkey-like animals, and then we tell them not to act like animals.
Yeah.
So it's, which is it? If I'm a monkey, let me act like one.
So this guy, my hand over here is okay?
Yeah, he's awesome. His name is Gideon. He still lives in my home. He does go out on some presentations, and during what we call our extreme tours, the staff will come over and get him. He just never made the adjustment to the animal center. The exotic animals freak him out. I tried putting him, he's called a prosimian. He's a lesser primate. I tried putting him over with his cousins, the lemurs, and
No, he's not having it.
he's like, no. If you saw the movie Madagascar, they have King Julian as the lemur, and then Maurice is probably supposed to be a bush baby, I'm thinking, because he looks just like one. And these guys are from Africa. They have a nice stronghold in yeah, it's cute, huh? In Tanzania. And they call them bush babies. There's just an old tale where they say some of the African tribal people thought that they were being surrounded by like African pygmies because they look in the bushes and they see these eyes glowing. And that's just one of many stories that I've heard and studied. But so their eyes will glow, and they do stay lower in the bush sometimes. They can climb incredibly, but just different levels of the trees and different places, you have different predators, So-
He's got the long tail. Is that
And
climbing, for
when he
hanging,
jumps, he can't. It's not prehensile, so he can't hang. But when he jumps, it definitely helps him steer through the air. But he can hop. These are the ones you can go online and see video. He won't do it, unfortunately, at the shows, where they put their feet up like this and they hop, and they can do like 18 feet.
Really?
So yeah, they're pretty athletic. He covers quite the distance in our house, because he does have a little exhibit that he stays in, but he does get out for exercise.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Lately, he's been
Oh, what?
exercising.
Oh, I
I'll put you
thought
up here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Go meet. Put it up here on
Is it
Shane.
okay?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
he likes height, which I don't offer. And then He likes to mark his territory. You'll feel like a warm.
What, you mean like he's gonna pee on
like
you?
a warm. It's like a. You'll feel like a warm stream of pee
Okay,
down your back.
'Cause
And
I
that-
might have I just might have marked my territory.
and
I'm
then
just saying.
that means if he gets lost, he might find a scent and find his way
Oh.
back to you. Then he's foraging for bugs and stuff like that in my hair. But these guys, they're omnivores. They'll eat frogs, spiders. They'll eat little lizards, but they also are crazy for fruit and sweets. So
Now what family is this? Because I'm trying to. No, he has.
it's a bush baby, and they're called prosimians, which are lesser primates, basically. Yeah.
So he is from the like the lemurs.
Yep.
Because he's got that look. I'm also looking. It also looks like a bat face.
He does have a bat face, and look at his ears. He has the ribbed ears. His ears remind me a lot of a bat, and they do have
Yeah.
excellent hearing. You know, not doesn't operate the same way as a bat's ears do, but still really excellent hearing. And he's not biting there. He's just
playing.
Just playing. Yeah. Typically, we don't let primates put our mouths on us, but he's, 4 years old now, 4 or 5. So we.
Now where are these? Oh, hey, buddy. Okay. I'm trying not to. I'm fine.
And we use a belly harness. You can't use a collar on a primate because they'll break their own necks. So yeah, he's liking shit.
There you go.
Now, if you bleed, that's not a friendly bite.
You're really instilling me with a lot of
That
confidence
means.
in this guy.
Well, that's when someone says, "How do we know if it's a play bite or if it's a real bite?" When you bleed,
hurts.
when it hurts and you bleed, that's
Yeah.
the real bite.
That's the real deal.
And if you're not bleeding, it's not a real bite because they have very sharp teeth. You can't eat buttons, really.
Well.
See, as I say, they're intelligent, but he thinks that's a blueberry or something. So.
Now, where did you get? Now, these guys all came from.
This guy was born, there was a couple in North Carolina that was raising bush babies and several primates for a large zoo so they'd have different bloodlines. And unfortunately, the husband became very ill and the wife had too many animals to care for. So I just happened to be talking to them at the time this was all going on, and he was just born. And I said, I would take that. So,
Now, how long have you had this guy?
I think it's like 5 years now.
Oh my God! And he'll
Or
live
4 or
for
5 years, like 30.
no kidding.
Yeah, or longer. You can typically get animals to live longer in captivity just because they don't have the predators and they don't have to deal with, any weather changes or anything like that. So, and like say with a lion, if a lion got in a fight with an African porcupine in captivity, the lion would live because the zoo would rush the lion to the vet, or the zoo vet would be there and they'd pull out the quills and give him his antibiotics, and he'd be fine. In the wild, there's no veterinarian, so that's why things die. So in captivity, you can usually get animals to live longer now.
Now, as far as other myths or misconceptions of primates, as far as like superhuman strength or
Well, that's they're pretty strong. That
you.
owl could be closer to a real bite, but no, they are pretty strong. When someone says, monkeys can be,
I
10
probably took a
times
play bite, and
stronger.
I'm just a big baby,
Yeah.
but
10 times stronger, 50 times stronger. It's hard to say, but they're pretty powerful animals.
Was
with
that
the,
funny?
With the next,
I'm
we
gonna
have,
put a
do we have
banana
time
around
to do one more?
yes, we have all the time. in
Yeah,
the
so
world.
we'll do one more, and then with this next one, we'll get into, she looks a lot more human-like.
Look at my eye,
She's going for one more bug. She's just one more. I did take a shower today, so there's probably no live bugs in there. Huh?
So who we got? Who we have coming out next?
Yeah.
Hands off.
Oh, thank you.
You want to go see Brian?
You want to take a quick? We'll take a quick break, and we'll bring out the last guy.
Okay.
How's that sound? Be right back. And here we have, last but not least, we have Josie, right?
Yep, Josie.
And Josie is what?
She is a
Other than adorable.
adorable.
I'm
She
completely,
is-
like you said about this before. You're getting sucked in by
That's
the
it. You
cuteness
get
of the primate.
sucked in by the cuteness. Look at that cute face. She is a vervet monkey, which is closely related to baboons. In Africa, they also call them green monkeys. Off camera, they were saying, "Wow, she looks like yellow and green," and so they are referred to as green monkeys. And these are the only primate that I know of that live in Old and New World. So these guys are Old World Africa, but then they've been brought over to like the island of St. Kitts in the 1600s by the French, and they're pretty. There's a lot of videos. So they're funny, kind of sad. Some of them of the monkeys of St. Kitts, and you can see them. There's 3 monkeys to every person over there now, and they steal people's drinks and food and everything else. Now she's almost 4 months old. Nope. She's very hyper, and with monkeys, you have to correct them. You cannot let them bite you. I would suggest to the people that are looking at how cute and little she is to go on Google Images and type in vervet, V-E-R-V-E-T, teeth. And when you see their like 2-inch giant canines, you may think twice
No
about
kidding.
thinking how cute they are. I am not against people owning exotic animals. I've stated that before. They are against the law, primates in this state. But what I would
weren't always, though.
But they weren't always. No, I had them when I was kids, and when I was a kid, and they weren't against the law. But I would just say, whenever you're buying any animal, never buy something that's against the law because it will not work out for you, especially in Massachusetts. It will not be a good thing. But monkeys, as I said before, they are not easy. I think, and my wife and my kids agree, monkeys are the most difficult animal to work with. You have to discipline them right away. We use voice commands for everything. And like I say, they can love you and get scared and can bite your face off. So when you see all the movies and the monkeys, never misbehaving and all that, that's just not accurate. So
The monkeys are just like any, like you said, they weren't
No.
always illegal
No.
to own.
no.
But they could be just like dogs. I mean, dogs could snap at any time. Just, it's all in the upbringing.
I think.
I'm guessing
Well,
is pretty
well, I
much
think.
what we're saying.
I think dogs are a lot more loyal. See, you're not gonna. I think if you like monkeys are loyal to themselves. From my experience, I've had monkeys that I've raised full out attack me for like a yogurt covered raisin. It's like, hey, don't you know what your vet bills cost me? You're really biting me right now. So I really love her a lot. I mean, she's pretty spoiled. But I'll never be surprised if she attacks me. And as she gets bigger and her teeth get bigger, I'll never have my guard down. I won't be scared, but I'll always be aware.
She's how old, you said?
She's almost 4 months, and she was born in Florida for people that breed monkeys and things like that a lot for the movies. I actually met the person kind of by accident, and this monkey was supposed to go somewhere else, and then he met our family. He said, I know a monkey that needs to go with you guys. And yeah, she's pooped, and that's what monkey poop looks like, and when they're little, and it's stinky, just like.
So is
poop
it
should
just
be.
like she's looking to pick it up and fling it at somebody? Is that what?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when people say
No.
that chimps and people have 98% the same DNA, it's really misused the way they talk about it. And it's a very broad term the way you're using it. Under that same under the same pretense, you could say that humans and bananas, which have 50% the same DNA, and humans and nematodes, which like a worm, have 75% the same DNA, and humans and mice have 92% the same DNA. And chimps actually have more DNA than humans, about 10% more. The other thing, it's the proteins that really make up our anatomy and physiology and behavior. And you just alluded to what reminded me of this is you just alluded to her throwing poop. Now, if you're at a zoo and monkeys throw poop, they could be like 15 years old. Monkeys, they scratch the butt and they throw poop. And no, it's a slightly disgusting, but it's more funny than disgusting. You're like, that's wicked funny. See them throw that poop, But if, your 15-year-old child starts throwing poop at people, you're going to go, I'm the worst parent in the world. Or there's something seriously wrong with my child, right? So, it's really the proteins that make the big difference. That's why monkeys act like monkeys, and people should act like people, though my 5-year-old daughter, Giovanna, is questionable,
Now, I know that it's hard to get an actual, like a still shot of this guy.
Yeah, I
but
can tell.
a
You
shot
can
of
see
him
she's got ears
is
just like one of our
so-
friends, Justin. She has the same, don't you think, Brian? We have a friend that has ears exactly, same head to ear ratio, everything. And she has these big cheeks. She'll steal stuff and she'll stick it way in her cheeks. Nope.
But I'm just trying to to come across like how adorable this guy is, and what you were saying about as far as testing science.
Oh, yeah, this right now is the number one, I'm pretty sure it's still the number one primate used in biomedical research. And a lot of people are very much against animal research. When you look at their face, you go, really? But if you have a child, then you can understand that there's not a medicine that humans ever taken that has not been tested on rats and things like that first. Now, I was dead against animal testing until I started having kids. And then I did more, here's my thought, and some people, you don't have to agree with me, but my thought is this: if an animal is they don't get to choose whether they give their life or not, I think the animal should be treated extremely well, and the testing I guess is still necessary, but I just think the animal should be treated, very good. It's the hard thing is a lot of the primate facilities have either have been forced underground just due to threats to animal rights groups and stuff. So they used to, years ago, have the big, beautiful outdoor exhibits so they could be out in the sun, and then they've had to literally move stuff to the basement. So, you know, violence and threatening people is never really a good answer for anything, you know. And the other thing we find with animals is people that love animals, they let their emotions get in the way of research or thinking things through. Because you can, you know, when you make an emotional decision, it doesn't mean it's a researched or intelligent decision. It just means it's a, and I make emotional decisions, you know, we all do it. But when it comes to animals, you really got to step back and say, hey, what's the reality of this, you know?
Anyway.
Pretty cute though, huh?
Oh my God, I can't get over it. Like, I might have to-
Someday we'll have to bring Justin on, just so you can see. I'm talking identical,
You gotta have
identical
sit on his
ears.
shoulder and just kind of look at the difference. Now I know there's one other guy over there that at the facility, which by the way can be found on, what is the address in Sugar Road in Bolton?
It's 336 Sugar Road, Bolton, Mass. The website is animaladventures.net.
.net. And on there we're going to be able to find your hours and the exhibits and the prices and
Yeah, the events. We have a lot of free events that we do at the facility as well. We have one coming up sometime in September, so you want to check that. And then our nocturnal night is very popular, where we feed the big alligators and all that. And
you do birthday parties. and
scouts, everything.
Where they can come to the facility and
Well,
is that
yeah,
good?
yeah.
Yeah, like that. Or now do you also go to people book parties? We can go to the houses.
Oh yeah,
and
you know what? No, what's funny is we and Brian would talk about this the other day. As our company has grown and we're setting record numbers of people visiting, some people are going, "Oh, do you guys still travel?" Yes, we absolutely travel. We travel within 10 hours of Bolton. We do that for our colleges, but we would do that for a very elaborate birthday party.
For how long?
Well, the party runs for about an hour, but we'll travel distances of up to 10 hours.
Oh,
You know,
perfect.
because we do like University of Maine and Presque Isle, depending on traffic, that's 7 to 10 hours. Last time was a snowstorm, it was what, 9.5 hours, so.
Oh, my God.
But yes, we absolutely travel and do birthday parties, you know, so we love doing birthday parties.
Well, that's perfect. I think it's about wrap up all the time we have, at least for this time, at least for this
awesome.
show.
Well, thanks a lot for having me.
And thank you for coming down, and we will be ready for you guys next time.
Yeah, well-
And if we want to see Josie or Piglet or anybody else, you can, one more time, it's animaladventures.net.
Animaladventures.net, and then, yeah, well, I think, you know, after, you know, maybe, you know, by this time next year, we'll bring her back one more time just so people can see her growth
how
and,
big
and
is
her
she- how much bigger
progress
she's
and
gotten?
see how big her teeth are. you
Perfect. And then maybe we can get her on my shoulder chewing off my ear.
know. We could do that.
Perfect. That's about all the time we have. On behalf of myself and Ed, Animal Adventures, and Brian, and Josie, and
Yes,
Jake.
Jake.
And Jake as well. Thank you, and we will see you next month.
All right, thanks.
Better run through the jungle. Better run through the jungle. Better run through the jungle. What don't look back to see.
Yeah, don't look so nervous, Brian.
Wave, I want you to wave. Wave.
After